The night was darker than usual, the kind of night where the city lights seemed dimmer, the streets emptier and the air heavier. Daniel Sterling, a billionaire known for his empire of luxury hotels across the globe, sat in the backseat of his sleek black car, staring blankly at the city blurring past. His driver spoke softly about meetings the next morning, but Daniel barely heard a word. For years, his life had been defined by schedules, boardrooms, and high-profile appearances. Yet that night, as the clock struck well past midnight, he felt a hollowness he couldn't shake. When the car pulled up to his mansion, an enormous structure of glass and steel perched on the hill overlooking the city, Daniel didn't rush inside like he usually did. He lingered by the front door, staring at the silent windows. He had everything: wealth, status, power. Yet every time he came home, he felt less and less like he belonged there. He turned the key, stepped inside, and froze. The sound hit him first. Soft laughter, faint and melodic, echoing from the living room. It wasn't the laughter of his wife, Caroline. This was lighter, almost childlike. Slowly, cautiously, he walked deeper into the house, his heart pounding in his chest. He rounded the corner and stopped cold. There, on the living room floor, sat his wife and their 8-year-old daughter, Lily. The lights were dim, but fairy lights Caroline had strung across the room glowed softly, creating a warm cocoon of light. A fort made of blankets and pillows sprawled across the furniture, complete with stuffed animals guarding the entrance. Lily was in her pajamas, her small face lit up with joy as she handed Caroline a plastic teacup. Caroline, still in her elegant evening gown, laughed as she played along. Daniel's throat tightened. He couldn't remember the last time he'd seen his wife laugh like that. He couldn't remember the last time he'd seen his daughter this happy. He was always too busy, always somewhere else, signing deals, attending galas, hosting investors. At home, he was a guest, a ghost drifting through hallways that no longer felt his own. He watched silently, unseen, until Lily spotted him. Her laughter faded as her little eyes grew wide. "Daddy?" she asked softly, as though surprised he even came home. Caroline turned too, her smile fading into something more reserved. "You're home late," she said, her voice calm but laced with exhaustion. It wasn't accusation, but it wasn't warmth either. Daniel stepped inside the room, his eyes scanning the scene. The blanket fort, the toys scattered on the floor, his daughter clutching a teddy bear. It was such a simple moment, and yet it struck him harder than any business loss ever could. What is all this?" he asked, his voice breaking slightly. "It's Lily's adventure night," Caroline replied, smoothing her daughter's hair. "She's been waiting all week. We make a fort, tell stories, and pretend we're camping under the stars." Daniel swallowed hard. He had no idea. He hadn't known about this tradition, hadn't known what his daughter cherished most, hadn't even asked. He knelt down slowly, unsure, almost afraid. "Can I join?" Lily hesitated, her little face conflicted. "You're always busy, Daddy," she said innocently. The words pierced him deeper than any insult could. Caroline's eyes softened, but she said nothing, letting Lily's honesty linger in the air. Daniel nodded, fighting back the sting in his eyes. "You're right," he whispered, "but tonight I'm not busy. Tonight I just want to be here with you." Caroline watched him carefully, trying to read his sincerity, while Lily slowly extended a plastic teacup. "Okay, but you have to drink the magic tea," she said. He took it with trembling hands and sipped the imaginary drink. Lily giggled, and the sound lit up the room like sunshine breaking through clouds. Daniel smiled, truly smiled, for the first time in years. As the night went on, they told stories under the fort. Lily demanded that Daniel be the dragon, and soon he was roaring so loudly the whole mansion seemed alive. Caroline laughed again, her shoulders relaxing for the first time in months. They talked, they played, they lived, and Daniel realized he had been missing the very heart of his life. Hours later, after Lily fell asleep nestled in the fort, Daniel sat beside Caroline on the couch. The silence between them wasn't strained this time, it was thoughtful. "I've been gone too long," he admitted, his voice low. "Not just tonight, but for years." Caroline didn't look at him immediately. She traced her finger along the rim of her teacup before finally meeting his eyes. "Daniel, we never needed the mansions or the cars or the endless trips. Lily doesn't need a billionaire father, she needs her dad. And I just need my husband back." The weight of her words settled into his chest. He thought of the countless nights he'd spent in hotels across the world chasing deals, while his family created memories without him. He thought of the missed birthdays, the late arrivals, the promises broken. He felt shame, but also something stronger, a desperate desire to change. "I don't know how to fix everything," he said honestly, "but I want to try. I don't want to come home late to an empty life anymore. I want to come home to this, to you, to Lily." Caroline's eyes glistened, but she gave him a small, hopeful smile. "Then prove it, not with words, Daniel, with time." The following weeks tested him. Daniel canceled business trips, delegated responsibilities, and made decisions that shocked his executives. People whispered that he was losing his edge, but for the first time he didn't care. He was home for family dinners, bedtime stories, and Saturday morning pancakes. He took Lily to school, surprised Caroline with quiet walks, and rebuilt trust one moment at a time. It wasn't easy. Old habits tried to pull him back into the whirlwind of wealth and power. But every time he felt the tug, he remembered that night, the blanket fort, the fairy lights, his daughter's innocent question. "You're always busy, Daddy." Those words became his compass, steering him back to what truly mattered. Months later, one evening found the three of them building another fort in the living room. This time, Daniel was the one stringing up fairy lights, his laughter filling the space as he accidentally tangled them. Caroline shook her head with amusement, and Lily squealed with delight. When they finally settled inside their little hideaway, Lily looked at him with sleepy eyes and whispered, "Daddy, I'm glad you're not busy anymore." Tears stung his eyes, but he smiled and kissed her forehead. "Me too, sweetheart, me too." And in that moment, Daniel Sterling, the billionaire who once thought success was measured in numbers and assets, realized he was richer than he had ever been. Not because of his fortune, but because he had finally found his way home. The mansion still stood tall on the hill, the city still buzzed with its relentless pace, and the world still demanded his attention. But within those walls, under a simple fort of blankets and fairy lights, Daniel discovered the truth. Wealth fades, power shifts, but love, the love of family, is the only treasure worth keeping. He no longer feared coming home late, because now he made sure home was where he always wanted to be.